welcome to one more episode of Talking Times. Before I forget, I want to... Oh, there's always one. Before I start, I want you all that are watching us in a classroom, please, I want you to get your phone, enter in this YouTube broadcast on your phone, and like this video, okay? If you are here for the first time, subscribe, leave a comment. Now, what we're gonna talk about today. Are you thinking about changing careers and everything that is necessary to do this adaptation? So stick with us. I'm here with Marcel, and it's gonna be a nice conversation right after our podcast intro. Hello Marcel, how are you, man?
Hello. I'm doing just fine. Just glad to be here, I guess.
Yeah, me too. It's always someone. Today was me. Damn, I forgot you. Okay, if you guys don't know, we follow your questions on the chat right here, right now, live. And sometimes I forget to mute my phone, okay? So if you see me looking down here, it's not that I'm being rude, it's that I'm watching you. Marcel, before we start, man, please, thank you so much for being here, man. On a short notice, by the way.
It's alright. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to be invited to do so.
Nice. And break the fourth wall, introduce yourself.
Hey there. How are you? Well, my name is Marcel Santi. You guys will probably know me today as the guy who used to teach English but doesn't do it anymore. Alright? I was born and raised here in Campinas. Not Campinas for sure.
Yeah,
we don't gotta go that way. Yeah. And I've been living here most of my life. I've been to the capital city, São Paulo, for a short while. But here in the countryside is where actually I found myself. I'm actually undergraduate by linguistics. I studied at Unicamp, and also I've been teaching for quite a while. But today we're going to talk a little bit about a new journey that I've been, getting on. And for that, I will leave Maick to introduce it. It's a pleasure, y'all.
Man, okay, let's start with the linguistic thing. Every time I have a teacher here, it's something that happens a lot. I always ask the same question. That is, how did you become a teacher? And they normally tell me, well, I was doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then eventually I was a teacher. What's your story there?
It's always like the most random things that happen, right?
Yes, exactly.
I was walking down the street and then I was sucked into a void right into class.
Please, teach me English. You speak. Yeah.
All right, I'll sure do, right? In my case, actually, it was a little more traditional, most typical. It runs in a family, basically. My mother now she's retired, but she was a teacher for her longest 40 years of class experience.
Nice.
And also my two big brothers, they work into the pedagogical area as well. My brother teaches kids, and also my other brother, he used to teach at college. So kind of teaching stuff and just ran into the family.
Man,
but
that's nice.
I kind of got into it because I tried some things before that, like philosophy, or even so tried sports, but the thing that actually I got the best of me was actually teaching. So just go with what is right?
Alright, there's a lot there. I'll try to focus, not to get sidetracked today. Every time somebody says biology, philosophy,
well, there you go.
Geek reference.
There's a lot of ologies.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, having teachers in your family, like people so close to you, would you say that it was like an incentive, something that helped you, or was a little bit on your way, like pressure, like, oh my god, my mom's a great teacher, my brother is too, and I have to be a good one as well. How did you feel, man?
Towards the pressure, quite the opposite, actually.
Nice.
Being them teachers, they were like, no, you don't want to do that.
Oh, really?
Don't go that way.
Okay.
All right, there's no turning back. All right.
I've never heard an insatisfied teacher in my whole life.
Oh my god.
Oh, that would be so cool if my nose could. Not bad. My nose is big enough. Okay.
Oh well, yeah, we
okay.
share that for sure.
And what? But you have a boxing one. That's another thing we're gonna chat about.
There you go.
But what would they say? Would because, for example, in Brazil, teacher is a profession that sometimes financially is not that appreciated. It was because education in Brazil sometimes has like some crisis and it's not actually appreciated. You start crying, man. What was the reason, or is too much of a hassle dealing with people?
Well, most of it was actually, for sure, there is the appreciating aspect of it that is a little underappreciated, but a bit it is like, throwing it away. Yes, for sure. Yeah. Throwing out the window. But to be honest, it was most like one of those things when families, they do want the best for their kids, right? And knowing that they achieved a certain goal in life, financially speaking, they wanted what's best for me and they wanted better, right? So they tried to invest in some other stuff, and also they preyed on the idea of life quality, right? That's something that teachers don't really get too much in Brazil, specifically speaking, right?
Yeah. And would you notice the difference in profiles in your two brothers, man? Because one teaches in university, so is young adults, right?
For sure.
And the other is kids. Does this reflect their personality, like an archetype of these teachers, or no?
Yes, for sure. The middle one right there, right? They are both my older brothers, but the middle one right there,
you're the
it's
youngest.
Manuel. Yeah, I'm the youngest, right?
Shout out to you, Manuel.
There you go. And Manuel, he simply put, he loves kids, he loves to work with them, and he's like so patient. He's known as Uncle Buddha because
Buddha.
Yes, Uncle Buddha.
Man, that's a nice nickname.
Patient. Yes, and then everybody go Uncle Buddha, Uncle Buddha. And so because he waits for the last kid to finish his meal, all right? He helps with them to paint, and he's such a cutie, all right?
Nice.
But there's then my big brother, right?
Okay.
And this one is a little more impatient for stuff, right? He deals a lot with young adults, all right? So it's like, okay, I'm not waiting 5 more minutes for the class to start. If you're here. If you're not, I'll see you around, all right? That's basically it.
Okay. And were you like middle term between these two?
Yeah, it's kind of like this. I don't really got good vibes onto the experience of teaching kids. Right? I know a lot of teachers do. A lot of teachers love doing it. So, but I kind of prefer to teach more into the teens and also adults for sure. That's what I've been doing for the last years. I guess I get into the midst of it. All right.
Nice. I've never taught kids. I guess the youngest student that I've had in my life was 9. But it was my first classroom, and the oldest in the same class was 16. So man, it was like a jungle. It helped me to be like the clown teacher, because you had to hook their attention. The impression that I have with the friends I have who are teachers that teach kids is that they're the students are very tender with the teachers, like, oh, teacher, and like give them a gift, this kind of like the affection aspect. The ones in the public school or university is something more like you said.
They are something else for sure.
Okay, so that leads to my other question. That is, for you, Marcel, what are the skills or characteristics? What makes a good teacher? Like, what do you need to have?
That's a good one, right? I'm gonna take here the pen of reason and tell right away. So, for me, especially, it is someone who's able to listen a lot more than he can actually communicate through talking, all right? To be a good teacher, it means that you actually comprehend, you can actually understand what are the needs of your students. And you're gonna do that onto a interpersonal level, mostly, right? You can be a whole lot of professional, now with adults and so, but when dealing, for example, with teens, okay, you gotta have a little more work into empathy, all right? And a lot of stuff that teens deal every day. Sometimes they just don't come into a good day to school, and you're gonna have to deal with it, all right? They're gonna bring trouble into your class, and you're gonna have to step up and literally be the adults there, right? So I guess a little bit of a dose of empathy and a lot of listening for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree. You have to adapt to each student you have. I guess the challenge for most of teachers is when you have variety of students in the same classroom with different learning needs and learning profiles and personalities, and you need to be like the conductor in the same class. That was a challenge. That is a challenge for me as well. Well, what made you change your careers, man? Because unfortunately or not, you are no longer a teacher, right?
Yeah, that's right. I no longer work as a teacher, not because of purpose. Purpose, it is always in my life. It still makes a lot of sense to teach people. It is something that I always enjoyed, and I like to feel useful teaching people, actually, right?
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling.
Yes, it is. It is a very good massage for the ego, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I have something like a colleague, Marcel, how do I say this in English or something? I'm like, okay, let me see. I can help, please.
It's actually cool because for people that I know from here that were not from the pedagogic department, it was kind of fun when I was coming to the studio and say, oh, hey, Mike, how are you, man? And I said, hello. It's nice to do this. Do you miss the classroom? In which moments, if so?
There you go. As I was saying that, and that links exactly to the missing thing, all right, into the classroom. The first part, that is purpose, I never lost it. So I still like the idea of teaching, but professionally for doing so, I believe I've reached like a brick wall that wouldn't fold, basically, all right, towards my career progress. So that's when I made this change, all right, this decision to change careers. And it is a very real and hard decision. It gets real very, very fast when we change for careers that are, all right, intrinsically very different, like the commercial area and the teaching, the pedagogical stuff, right? Into that case, all right, you asked, what was your last question? Sorry.
It was about the motivation behind the change, because you were a teacher, and then why made you change?
Yes. Why had I decided to do so?
Yeah.
Well, basically in that case, it was because of career progression, right? I've peaked as a coordinator, and then from that on, that was it, basically, right?
Okay.
So there was purpose, but there was not really that much of a line I could grow to, all right? A ladder I could climb to in that case. So the career planning we have in commercial, it is something that simply glowed my eyes, right?
Yeah. And okay, now we have three professionals there. You have the teacher version of you, the coordinator, and now what do you exactly do?
Oh, right now I act as a supervisor into commercial area, right? So I manage 2 interns right here that are working with us.
Nice.
And they are just starting their very first job-like, actions into life. And it is my job to teach them good actions.
So that's the teaching.
You see, there's the teaching. There you go. But not only that, right? I believe that into what I do right now, I also do enrollment processes, and also I'm helping students in a different way, because back then I helped them into class. Right now I help them to get into class, right, basically. So it is a little bit different, but the purpose of helping students achieve their goals is still the same. The difference, I'm not doing an everyday active part of it, but I'm helping them, stop procrastinating into it and actually do it, right? To get to the point, basically.
You made me remember something. My first job transition, let's say, was when I was a teacher, and every day is pretty much the same routine. You have the classes you teach, you have your students, you have your working hours, and that's it. Sometimes you have some eventuality, not somebody died, but like
there you go.
Something that happens that was not expected in the class. Maybe a student was not having a good day or forgot to do something, and I had a coordinator that I could report and give me support. Then I remember that the opportunity to be this person, the coordinator, showed up, and I was a little not afraid, but let's say I didn't believe I had what it takes, because I said, man, to be a coordinator you have to be very organized and neat. I don't know, I'm too crazy, I'm not like that, When you did this transition from teacher to coordinator, was it something similar? What happened there?
For sure. There was a big change, and that change was visible even into my classroom. If you would walk up into my classroom, you would see post-its like everywhere. Don't forget this. Don't forget to grade this student.
That's
all right?
me
Send
today.
this report.
Yeah.
All right. Call up this meeting. So yeah, it was kind of a crazy time, rushy, all right, but very, very good.
Nice.
And actually, I enjoyed the most of it, the experience, the challenge. We do have a little bit of insecurity towards that. It was always like this, and I believe it is not something to worry. Someone once said to me that, man, if you feel like you're totally sure of what you're doing and you're 100% overly confident about something, that means that probably you're gonna slip away at some point and you're not gonna do your very best job all the time. All right? If you feel that pressure, that insecurity right there, means that you care about it, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
it's not
true.
really a big deal.
Yeah, and so for people that are thinking about changing their careers, what tips could you give for the first steps to do it in like a smooth way? Like, I don't know, if you, let's say the person want to change areas and they're very different, so there will be a period of adaptation.
Perfect.
What should they do, man?
I think you started by describing it with the perfect word. It is a process that is going to be smooth. It's not going to be sharp like this and cut right away to the chase. You're going to change from one day to one night. It's not like that, right? You're going to have a period of adaptation for sure, especially when the areas are not really that matched, all right? They're not really that close. And mostly, you're going to need a lot of planning, all right? To really understand, all right, the long-term goals that you have and the medium-term goal that you really have, and to how to achieve them into the area that you are getting into, all right? In my case, it took a lot of planning, like a lot. And it was not like the right away like this. When I was first invited to meet the commercial area, I was like already scoping it for like at least 2 months or so, right?
Okay.
And then my commercial director, he was like, okay, I might give this kid a shot, all right?
Oh, that was nice. So, so this is something important too. You were not alone. You had like somebody like a mentor, somebody that could help you.
Sure. More than a mentor, I would go like to a true leader right now, right? The commercial director of our district right here, right? He's very close in relationship with the school, right? I mean, physically, presentially. And he was at the school all the time. And I used to see this big fella, all fancy and so, passing around. And then he just smelled like success for me. And I kind of mirrored that. And I said, I want that, all right? It is something that I could really, really see myself doing. And
nice.
of course, that kind of awakened the desire to know better. But it wasn't easy at the beginning because he was like, no, Marcel, you're like one of my best teachers, man. Stay where you are. Don't make me get new hirings or so, all right?
Okay.
But eventually, here I am. The resilient people, all right?
Okay, that's one characteristic. I would ask, you talked a bit about the coordinator, the teacher. What are to be good in the commercial area, what are the requirements? What are the characteristics you need to have?
Into the commercial one, you said?
Yeah.
Well, I would say that you're gonna have to work a lot more into your emotional intelligence, probably more than you have when you're teaching, because, well, you free yourself from a lot of empathy feelings when you're a teacher.
Ah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah. It was my Achilles heel as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
One thing that I still struggle today, all right? I've been working on it, but it is that I'm just too kind, all right? Whenever I'm talking to, some people would say clients, I always consider them to be the candidates, all right, of students, because we do a through, all right, selection of them. And in that case, it is not always good for the person, all right, to be kind for the student. And teaching in class, you learn that if you can solve it the easy and the most kind way possible, that's good, all right? You're not gonna create any barriers into classroom. This student's gonna trust you even more. But into the commercial area, it's not always like this. Sometimes you gotta be a little rough to, just shake up the person a little bit and give a reality check, like, man, you're procrastinating, that's not the way you really wanna go, you're not going to achieve your goal like this, right? And I was always afraid of being rude to people. I was like, oh my God, I cannot say that. I'm gonna be so rude like like this. And then my mentors and something will be, you're not being rude, you're being positioned, right? You're going to be firm. That's it, all right? Like some teachers in the old past would be, but no rulers involved. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I had a sniper teacher, man. That woman, she had like a sniper in her hand, and she would throw crayons.
Jesus, man.
And she would hit the students right in the eye, you know?
Oh, God.
Yeah. I don't even know if she's alive because she was old and this was like 30 years ago or more. So Dona Cida, you had a sniper hand.
There you go.
If you are watching this, imagine on the chat, Dona Cida, you should have behaved.
There you go.
But man, it was funny.
She's sniping you in the chat right now, man.
Oh yeah, that's kind of possible. All right, so you mentioned something interesting, Marcel. You should work on your emotional intelligence. So how do we do that though? Like therapy, you read books, or is just is like a new starting point when you analyze a situation, like a new mentality you need to have, because there are different ways that people can change in this aspect. Which strategy do you prefer?
There you go. I can speak from personal experience. In that case, and so I would say that the new mentality to acquire, it is something that was needed for me. So definitely I was with like a teacher's mind, right? Always focus on the next goal at hand, and now I had some planning to do long term, right? Even as a coordinator, I started to experience that a while, right? I saw the other teachers like, just living in the moment, and I was living in Campinas in my office, all right? Just there working through it and going through it as well. I have a very standard opinion on to therapy and which I also do, all right? The opinion is do it, all right? If your life's perfect, great. You don't have any big major troubles or issues that you need to work on, perfect, go do it. If you have anything that you need to work on, then double do it, go for it.
Yeah, makes sense. For me, what helped me a lot, the studies that I like doing about, neuroscience, psychology, and eventually I got to meditation,
There you go.
And my problem sometimes was I was too calm, and there is a line of philosophy called stoicism that was, for a commercial guy, is not the best thing, because commercially you are result driven. You need to get your targets, your goals, and stoicism is like this, your house is on fire, everybody died, and you will say like, well, I cannot control it, so that's fine. No, it sucks, but okay, well, let's move on. That's fine. We move on.
There you go.
But if you do this in commercial, you need to have a little bit of, I would say anger, but it's like not anger exactly, but a type of aggressivity.
You gotta be bothered all the time.
Yeah, like I'm not happy with myself, but that's where is the thing. The line is very thin of motivating yourself with this energy, and it could be like a fuel, like it powers you up, it gives you like that boost. I'm gonna get and talk to this person and be my best version, and bah! Or you can beat yourself up to a point of exhaustion. So
there you go. That's a very thin line you got right there. Because this is energy, and you're gonna chant it in somehow, right? In some way. And at that point, you can overwork it. You can actually get really mad at things that you can possibly change at the moment. You can be bothered, and it is healthy to be bothered with problems that come to your hand, right? But as a stoic, you would know there's no point in worrying, right? If you cannot do something, but still I worry, all right? Still I care, but I will not kill myself over it, all right? It's just not worth it, right? I can solve a lot of other problems meantime, right? Anxiety is something that grows a lot when working into this area, of course, and it is something that I've been working on, and it's something that I've discovered, all right, most recently. But I guess I'm not really that affected by the Zen side of teaching. I guess it comes handy.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really helps. I used to do every year. This year I haven't done it yet, but there is this psychology test that is called Human. Is a website that's 16 personalities, human metrics. If you guys want to do, if somebody's kind enough, can post it in the chat. It would be nice. See, Young from Carl Jung, 16 personalities or human metrics, 16 personalities test. You're gonna find it. And turns out I used to get the same result because it's gonna show your profile, you know, your rational aspect, emotional aspect, relationship, career, suggestions and stuff like that.
There you go.
I used to have the same profile. After I started working in the commercial area, and before I was the manager of a high school here, so I was working in a different area as well, like the operational manager. So it changed me a little, and the commercial changed me more. When I've done the test, the result was different. Like I literally have became a different person in terms of personality and personality traits. Like in commercial, you have to do a lot of negotiation, you know.
For sure.
As a teacher, we don't expect, like you sometimes we do too, but you don't expect to have to convince the person that the person should learn and trust you. It's already there, it's already happening.
Yes.
But when you are dealing in the commercial aspect, the person will be suspicious of you, or sometimes the person is insecure, you know, you have different profiles. So I'm telling you all of this just to ask, how did you change after that?
There you go. First trick of the book was to learn that we don't really change, right? We can increase or decrease some perspectives we have and some traits of personality for sure, but when it is like radical, like when you said it totally changed, man, probably it comes with a mentality difference, right? That you have to improve into yourself. In some cases, right, decrease into yourself, right? But in my case, it was just like that. To be honest, I felt like I was a little mediocre, right? Talking about my past times, and right now I feel like I'm already, you know, to achieve more successful things. I got more ambitious, right? Not greedy, but ambitious for sure.
This is a good trait to have, because you can be ambitious in the aspect of you're happy with what you have, so happy, thankful for what you have, but never 100% satisfied. Like there's always a little more to go.
There you go, and that's
and
the
for
thing.
the guys, that's a sexy trait according to studies.
There you go, there you go. All right. Well, thinking over to it, whenever we see the difference of the line of work, the students, all right, we have in class, they are already there, right? You're gonna have the troubles, all right, to solve that they bring into class, right? The hard times and the challenges they're having with the study of English. But before that, they haven't yet taken the leap, all right, to study. They haven't yet decided to actually change some aspects of themselves. And it's funny because I always say, whenever you start, you're gonna notice that you are a complete different person when you learn a new language, for instance, right? You're gonna know parts of yourself that you don't know it really yet. We don't know, actually. I don't know. I would dare to say right now, I'm 25 right now. I dare to say that. Really?
Nice.
Do I look older or something?
No, it's because you don't look older, but you act older. You look very mature.
Oh, appreciate it.
Because 25 people. I'm not trying to get to offend you guys under 25.
There you go.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
But the cortex has just been formed, so they will be very with a lot of impulsivity and lack of self-control. You have you look like well-centered in this aspect.
Oh, thank you very much. I don't think that's a lot of my how can I put it? It's a childlike behavior that was, you know, evolved from the very beginning. My mother was very strict into some points, I guess. Teachers, right? It goes like this. 4 years old, there I was with my pen, and her hand was going like, no, it's not like this, it's like this, all right?
Okay.
So
nice.
I kind of grown a little earlier in that case.
It's something that the commercial area does with us, right? You need to mature in some aspects.
Yes. yes. Otherwise, you're gonna be swallowed by all the responsibilities that you actually are taking for yourself. When I was a coordinator, I had a whole structure, right, to help me coordinate. Right now, I also have a structure, but that structure depends on me, all right, to be relying there. So right now, all the people that work with me count on me on a level that before it wasn't even that close to what it is today. All right. So what I mean by depending on me, it is depend of me achieving my success, doing my job right, so they can do theirs as well. All right. Especially intern people, right? It's their first job. They have to have a good reference of what a good professional is, right?
Makes sense. Having your teaching background, how did it affect in positive aspects your commercial work? It helped you, I don't know, to convince people. You could show how it is, because one thing is you say, oh, this is great, it's gonna help your career. The thing actually works. The other is like just show them. Like I told you, I had an interview with a candidate, and I said, "Oh, do you want to do this in Portuguese or English?" And he was like, because he was telling me on the phone that I guess I am high intermediate, something like this. I said,
very
okay,
proficient, yes.
It was like this. Oh, do you want to do this in English? And he was quite surprised. It was actually nice.
There you go. Well, there was one very recent, all right, interview I had with a candidate, and he actually was like, "Hey, I'm an advanced student, all right. I just need my leveling so I can get into it, and tell me how much is it gonna be, how many classes do I have to do, and we'll be done with it." And I was like, "Really, you're advanced? So let's take a class together, all right? Let's do this. Your leveling is gonna be right now, dude, all right?"
Man,
and then he was a little bit surprised at first and shy, and then he started to bloom. And whenever I saw, he and me, we were best friends, right? He was basically that. Well, and going over that, it helps a lot to have a pedagogical background. And that's because you actually understand how the method works. And to pass that on to the student, you don't have to convince anyone. Whenever you try to convince someone, you're gonna realize actually that if you try to convince someone, there's gonna be a brand name written all over your face, like seller, right? And we ain't here to sell. We are here to help you achieve your goals. If your goal passes through the idea and the needs of learning English, that I can help you double time, big time, all right?
And knowing the candidates that you normally talk with, what would you say are the biggest walls that they put in front of themselves not to study? What are I will not say excuses, because sometimes they don't do this intentionally, but what are the walls, the barriers that they bring?
Well, people that actually don't get wherever they want to be, is not always because they are self-sabotaging themselves into a purpose way. It's not like that, right? We do this unintentionally, like you said. The big time thing that happens are the usual suspects. Procrastination, for sure, all right? The person she really wants to do, all right, what she thinks she needs to, but whenever there's an opportunity, she let it slip away, all right? She just let it go. And that's because she thinks she's gonna get another opportunity sooner or later, or she can just leave it there to another moment. And that's the biggest misconception, right? Because every opportunity you pass by, it's a no you're saying to yourself. But the procrastinator, he's not actually a lazy person, all right? Lazy person is the person that actually kind of celebrates that he didn't accomplish anything, right? The procrastinator is quite the opposite. He feels bad for it. Another year, I didn't do the English stuff. Another year, I didn't enroll into a course. I know I need it, but I haven't done, right? And the person feels bad with himself, right? It is very, very tough to act like this. And the usual suspects goes by procrastination, time management, actually, I don't have time to study, all right? You give them like very flexible, all right, hours to study, and they'll be like, "Oh no, but I gotta check with my family because I had a lot of classes this year." Every year we have a lot of classes. Sometimes there is not a really good timing to do so, but we gotta do besides that, right?
Except the guys that are involved with shark loans, I love this word.
There you go.
Playing a lot in the little tiger game, maybe they have been involved in some chicken fight, stuff like that. I always wanted to say this in English. Yeah, like that. So it's like you said, the bills are pretty much the same that we have every year. Would you say that some people they think, for example, that they will always be in control, like I'm telling this no to myself now, but whenever I want I can go there and actually do it, and they keep pushing.
Yes.
Maybe it's a responsibility issue, like.
Yes, and that's what I said, why I said before, that sometimes you gotta be a little rough into it to help the person to realize actually what's going on and how much of not in control she is actually. Because she thinks she is in control, alright? She's just basically me when I used to game back there, right? Like, no, just 5 more minutes of gameplay and so. And whenever you see, man, you go through the night, playing some video game or something, right? It's very common in teams, actually. You see this. And it's the same type of behavior, but now you're an adult, you're a grown up, you have all the responsibility, and you're a big grown-ass man. So, right now, you don't have this trouble, right? Actually, you do, all right?
Yes.
You always had, right? And you haven't changed that at all. In that case, yes, the person does this unintentionally, and she keeps pushing because she thinks she can solve it at any moment. And the more she pushes it, the harder it is to get back at some point, right?
Nice.
Our job is to give this little shaken, all right, into the person so that she can wake up mostly.
Yeah, and the course is 1.5 years, 18 months.
Yes, it is 18 months, right? Speaking into pregnant ladies' language, right? Like this. It is 1.5 years, basically, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very short time with a very quick return you get it, right? With the developments. When students start, they actually come to be very appreciative of the work you've done. And sometimes they end up mad with you, like, oh my God, that guy, he pointed at me and said I was procrastinating, and I hate that guy, right? And then they come.
That was a reality check.
Yes, and then they come later and say, hey, thank you, man. All right, I'm very happy. All right,
Yeah,
I got the job I wanted.
Something that I like doing, because for a short period of time I was in the commercial and also teaching classes. It was such an amazing feeling when I was teaching a conversation and one student that I brought to the school was there. I said, oh, Fulano, how are you? And then it's like, oh, hi, teacher Maick. It was like that. What would you say are the reasons that people should study English today, Marcel?
Well, besides the fact that for some professions, for some lines of work, it is outstandingly essential, right? I would say that, man, it will expand your view of yourself. You discover to be another person entirely different and new to yourself when you learn a new language. And English being universal as it is, right? You're gonna learn a lot of yourself that you don't really know, right? You think you do know all about you, but you don't. Besides that, there's the cultural aspect, all right? You're gonna get to watch your favorite series or movie to the original, all right, language, for sure.
Understand the jokes.
Right?
It's so cool.
So cool, man, right? With the very idiomatic expressions and so, right? I always do this little play, all right, with the candidates. And I was like, if I come to you and I say that you were to make a test, but you don't have to study, because this test, right, that you're gonna do, it is actually a piece of cake, all right? You're gonna be a little confused by me, because what the hell is piece of cake, teacher? Right? It's like
Papaya with sugar.
there you go. It is exactly like that. All right. It is a little chip or something like that. Right? There you
Chip.
go. Yes.
It's honey on the pacifier.
There you
Little
go.
honey on the
There you
pacifier.
go. There you go.
If you have no idea what we're talking about, come to your classes.
There you go. Come right away.
You mentioned professions that English is essential. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? Which professions today, 2025? Oh, bingo! I feel old.
There you go. 2025. It's right there.
Which professions do you think you need to? It is a must do.
Well, mostly with the students that I've been working with, all right, for the past times. Undeniably, it is the IT area for all the ramifications they do have. But we're also going to have business for sure, especially if you're going to work with any project that is overseas, that is international. We do have into the law area, all right, in some points. We're going to have into the health, all right, area as well. We're gonna get a lot of English into there, but mostly, all right, we get into the IT area right now because everything that people say is actually true. Besides being a little past, that is, right? The market, it is very warmed, and here in Brazil, we do have a lot of talent, all right, to export, all right? And I believe that all these professionals, all right, are very willing, to instead of being paid in reais, all right, to really get something as into dollar or euro, and perhaps spend in reais, right? So that's very attractive.
That makes a lot of sense. We had a student here in the podcast that he was living in. Do you remember the country? It was Dubai, I guess. I forgot the country. It was Dubai, but it's like this. He is from the IT area and he received $10. Lives in Dubai.
There you go.
It's a nice scenario, right?
It is. I can picture myself happy with it.
I had another one that he lived in Thailand, and he was a tech lead living in Thailand, receiving dollar, and he said, man, because of this currency exchange, the salary that was already nice became even more attractive. So in terms of quality of life, it was amazing, Do you know any interesting story of a student that you have enrolled and they came back to you and said, oh, thank you so much, Marcel, because it's different now and you helped me to do this? Or
for sure. I have two students I keep at heart, very close right here, and they're actually two old ladies, all right?
Nice.
They are Maria and Jenna. And
shout out to you, Maria and Jenna.
There you go. They are actually, all right, students that went on trips, all right, worldwide basically, but mostly they have kids that live right in USA. Kids for them, for us, grown adults. And I could actually see, all right, the performance of their acting in English getting better, increasingly better time by time, because they started from the zero, not with me, but with other teachers. And then when I got there, they were like in book 2, a little intermediate level. And then from that progression onto the advanced level, they were like the living proof that, man, anyone can learn English. All right, that's basically it. Because they had a lot of insecurity towards it. Oh my God, I will never learn. I have a very hard time learning the vocabulary and memorizing stuff. And whenever you see they are taking pictures and sending me videos like, hey man, see, no, I'm here, I made it,
Man, this is so cool. I had this student, Eric Patterson. Shout out to you, man. He lives in Australia.
There you go.
And man, he has a very nice story. He used to be a football player and didn't work out for him, so he had to do a career change. And eventually said, you know what, I'm gonna study my ass off English, then I'll do a university course in another country. So he did this. He studied, I guess it was administration in Australia, got a job there. But I guess he's gonna be here eventually, right? We have been talking about it, and it's a very, no spoilers, but it was very nice. Like you said, it's a little bit of ego, but a little bit of us feel proud to be part of this story. Like you remember the students struggling in class, and then like, oh my God, you're getting married in Australia,
There you go.
It's beautiful. It's very nice to see, man. There's a question here in the chat. I almost forgot the chat. Marcus, shout out to you, Marcus. He said, you think it's easier to teach adults or kids or teenagers? Or how do you see it?
There's like a preference towards it, like whichever is easier. I don't think there's really it's a personal level, right? Kind of answer. For me, yes, it is easier for me to teach adults, all right? I think the level of maturity, whenever you're the one investing into your education, you appreciate it a lot more, and you put a lot more of effort into it, right? So you actually see people, all right, working for it. Whenever they're kids, they are a little more open to do what I did the first time learning English. That was, my parents are paying, and oh my god, I have to do this class after class. Gee, man.
Yeah.
Right? And there's this kind of stuff. But that's me just generalizing a little bit. For me personally, I prefer to teach adults, for sure. All right?
Yeah, I like because I can be 100% myself. For example, I tell a lot of jokes that are for adults.
There you go.
I can.
That's one thing.
So the limitations that I would put professionally to teach a kid or a teenager, and not because of like saying crazy jokes, but for example, you can play a game or you can talk about some news that are happening right now in the world. We do. I was gonna ask you that, but for example, we used to have and we do a lot of classes involving like serious topics. Like I remember when we had the clash in Russia and Ukraine. I was actually teaching a class and we were checking the world news a little bit before it started. And they would say, "Oh, Russia is sending tanks and stuff." You cannot have this conversation with the kids in this exactly aspect. So it's really real and practical, you know.
For sure. Also, one of the classes I really used to like are debate classes, for example. The debate classes are unpractical, all right, with teens and above, because it's gonna get polemical. It's not gonna have a good level of maturity to discuss topics, all right, such as. Pick your poison, right? Soccer, right? Politics, religion, whatever it is. You just don't touch that beehive with things and under, right?
No, it can be literally anything. It can be who is better, Madonna or Michael Jackson? Now it could be like I don't know. I feel old again. I don't know what your kids are into these days.
There you go.
But it could be like from cookies or biscuits, and then Todd or Nescau, and then Payas, and
when
then
they see that they're strangling themselves.
Yeah.
I had a teen class that actually you said about the jokes, right? Most of the jokes are going to be adult jokes. And I had this student that he was like 13 to 14, and oh my god, that little guy was a little Léo Lins of the jokes, you know? And oh my god, dude, it was really, really hard.
You see, the cortex is not fully developed.
And then, oh my dog, dude. Well,
that was a good one.
There were some classes when I was like, okay, but dude, that was funny. I cannot laugh.
Oh, it was like the Jesus in the Instagram when you see those guys
like this, exactly.
Like, go there, laugh, and it was.
And some of them were just like, hey, dude, that's offensive. I'm not your father, all right? I cannot, educate you into it, all right?
It was only him in the class, or there were other students?
Oh no, there were two more, all right?
Oh boy.
Yeah, and two girls, by the way. So he liked to be the center of attention, and he really was, right? He's a really cool kid, right?
Okay. How long ago was it?
I would say 1.5 years, maybe.
Okay,
maybe.
so he's still a teenager.
He's still a teen. He was. I took the class midterm, right? When he was in second year. So maybe now he has finished, all right? But his English level. Pretty good, right? He learned that.
Sense of humor, a 7 out of 10? Or
there you go. We'll discuss his grades later, right?
Okay.
There you go.
Nice. What were the classes that you enjoyed more when you were a teacher?
I guess I have to say, and that might be a little bit standard, too much, but the special ones, right? They are the ones which you can relieve, all right? You can actually release your creativity, all right? Do something that you actually liked, and the students are going to learn by it, right? I also like the themed classes, like the holiday ones. Oh my god, Halloween special classes were my favorite. I would just do classes with the intention of scaring my students. And
I used to do that.
Like you're not gonna sleep tonight, man, right?
I suck in decorating stuff, but the Halloween one I could shine a little bit, do my creepy stuff around the school and some scary pranks. That was cool.
Hang like a speaker underneath the table, for that very moment you release that scream out of nowhere, and it's like Halloween, guys, alright? Just a little prank.
I used to make this doll that looked like the nun or Samara.
There you go.
And there is this hall in this school, and so you would go distracted there in the home. There will be this gigantic figure.
There you go.
Oh, that was funny. That was funny.
Very good.
Shout out to you, Simone from Times Your Jeans. Okay. Well, when you're not working, when you're not studying, Marcel, what do you do, man? What do you like to do to relax or for fun?
Well, I used to have more hobbies, and that is something I gotta be honest with you guys. When working to commercial area, if you don't want to get swallowed, all right, but you really are going to bring a little bit of work to your home, even if it is a study, all right, towards the area. And right now, I don't have that much hobbies as I used to before. Right now, I also read a good book like everyone. I watch series. I just finished one that I was like procrastinating for a long time, and now I took the courage to do. And besides that, I do like going to the movies. All right. You guys could sense that I really like horror, so I just went to watch Nosferatu very recently.
Okay, without giving us serious spoilers, I watched the original one and the Drunk Star, so I know that there's going to be a vampire. Oh, spoiler! No, but I like is Robert Eggers, I guess, the director. I watched the Lighthouse, The Witch, The Northman. I guess these three ones.
Yes, all black and white stuff, and so same vibe.
That would be my question. Is it like the same vibe in artistic aspect?
Yes, he was very truthful to the original one, all right, that you get. Instead of like a shiny bald head, you're gonna get a little more bald spots, all right, into the characterization of the character in itself. But all right. I haven't watched the very first original one, right?
Oh,
so I couldn't really compare. But by review, because I always watch first and then go to reviews to check. All right, let me see how much of a I don't know how much of a critic am I today, right?
Okay.
And then it checks out that they really have, all right, some very major coincidences between the very first and this one, and they made things very familiar with for the people who really love movie and cinema, all right, who really study that. You guys are gonna love it, I believe, all right?
The first Nosferatu, that escalated quickly, by the way. We're talking about teaching commercial stuff. I love this, real conversation.
Yeah.
But the first one is very interesting because there's a polemic. This movie, the name Nosferatu was kind of the family, I guess, didn't allow them to use Dracula, and then director said, "Fuck you."
There you go.
He is gonna use the same movie, just changed the title, and it had been prohibited in some countries for some time.
Yes, it was censored, right?
Yeah.
So as far as I know, in that case, right?
Yeah.
But all those movies have a little polemic to each, right?
Yeah.
And
they had some myth about the myths actually behind the actor, the main actor.
Yes. They really thought at some point that he was a vampire,
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. Have you watched the one with John Malkovich? That's like not a remake, but it's like the story of the production of this movie. I haven't.
Can't say I have, man. At least right now, I don't recall it. But, well, onto this one, all right? If you guys like classical ones, this is supposed to be at least, right? I'm not a critic, a masterpiece. There you go. All right, that's the big man I was talking about.
Yeah.
The fancy one.
His
all right.
success.
Yes.
You guys cannot see, but we do.
But we see. It's impossible not to see.
Yeah.
All right?
So, before I forget, Great Slipknot song. What have you accomplished in the last Rise and Shine? That is an important one.
There you go. In the last one, I got promoted to supervisor. So thank you very much.
Congrats,
not only right now I bring people into the school by the enrollment process, but now I also supervise. So I have supervision. All right, there you go. Basically, that's the power I was given, and now I also help to command and coordinate some stuffs into the area. Not only the project I go by, but also I help coordinate the whole team. I work alongside with the managers in here, all right? So I do have a lot more work to do, and I couldn't be happier for it.
Nice, man. What do you expect for the future? What are the plans, man?
Well, right now I do have a very solid and close goal that it is I'm filling up my quota, all right? As everyone that works into commercial area fills up quotas by, doing your job. And whenever I do finish this, I hope it is going to be by the end of this month or the early beginning of the February. I'm going to be a new manager here at Times.
Nice.
So here's a spoiler for you guys, all right? Hope I can help you guys with a bigger team next time.
That's nice. That's nice. How do you manage with all the hassles, the struggles that are part of the? And this is a way that you could give us some hints for people that want to go to the commercial departments. You know, there are going to be ups and downs. You're gonna need a lot of emotional intelligence, like you said, to deal with people. What are your hints, man, to deal with the bad aspects of it, the difficult times?
Yeah, you gotta do like exactly what a teenage girl wanting her first tattoo would do. Resilience, all right? You surely gotta do that, all right?
The guy, a butterfly on my...
No. Not that kind of stamp, no.
Okay.
There you go. Well, that case, I'm sorry, dude. No, turning it back, all right?
Okay.
You're gonna be very resilient. You're gonna have to hold a lot, all right? Because you're gonna fall, and you're gonna fall not only once or twice. It's gonna be a lot of times. It is supposed, right? It is normal for you to fail at some point, but you really only fail when you give up into these things. Of course, you can be super talented, all right? And you're not gonna fail at first, but at some point you're gonna have to deal with frustrations of doing something that you're not quite dominate, or you actually are well versed into. You don't have a mastery into it as you used to do. So get used to it, right? You're a learner again, not a master anymore. So keep to it.
Nice, man. Okay, now unfortunately, I told you, man, time flies. We didn't have to do the inconvenient sip, the awkward pause, and I didn't get to sing a song, so I didn't have to use any of my cards here. But alright, I wanted to ask you, we were talking about the broken nose and the box.
There you go.
Okay, we were talking a lot. It's funny because the resilience stuff and the stuff we talk about commercial, to be a commercial professional, the beating, the ups and downs, the glory, the success, it kind of is parallel with a boxing guy, a boxing fighter.
Yes.
So how was your boxing time and what happened?
There you go. Well, right before I get into college, so leaving a middle school aspect of it, I was into sports. I was not this chubby bunny right here, right? I was actually a little more sportive and athletic, and
Did
I
you
used to do
that?
boxing. Yes, that's the shadow boxing right there.
Oh, that's
right?
nice.
And that talks a lot with the resilience, right? Everybody, I believe, everybody. A lot of people watch or know the phrase of Rock Balboa, right?
Exactly.
It's not how much you can, it's how much you can take, right? And it is the same thing. But I used to do boxing, and think about a stress relieving activity, man.
Man, it
right?
is,
Just to punch a bag, one or two faces is what you need to get through the day sometimes.
I started doing a little bit of light sparring in Muay Thai.
All right.
Yeah, but I only get my ass kicked because I'm a beginner there. So when people say, they imagine I'm bragging. Oh, you're fighting. No, I'm paying to get my ass kicked.
There you go.
Maybe I am a little saddle there and I didn't know. But it helps, like this stress relief, man. You get so lightheaded and relaxed after that. You know, lightheaded, especially when somebody punches you in the face.
Yeah, funny thing. I haven't never broken my nose. I haven't ever broken, right? Nothing, but I cracked my nose, all right, to a very specific point. And it wasn't because of punching, like you see in the movies. It was because of the punch, and then fall down, and then nose meets ground. Gravity working, all right? So it was like this. And now I said that we share, right, some nose traits, and one of them, it is this one. Mine is a little crooked, like that.
Yeah. Well, Marcel, it was very nice talking to you.
For sure.
I hope the boxing you get you nice results in the commercial area too, man.
It will, for sure.
Yeah, and final message to everyone watching us here.
All right. Well, what can I say? I don't really have that creativity. I'm just gonna go Ryan Reynolds right now. Drink water, all right?
Thank you guys for being here with us. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, leave a message, give us suggestions. What are the topics you would like to see here? There are many in my head. I wonder if you'll be interested on that. This episode is going to be on Spotify tomorrow. Have a beautiful night and see you next week on our next episode of Talking Times. Bye bye.